Hello everyone, welcome. Erica VB here, certified evidential medium practitioner, intuitive oracle card reader, and trained animal communicator. So I thought with Beltane right around the corner, being tomorrow, May 1st, we would do a reading that incorporates the themes of Beltane and what we need to focus on for the month of May. So the themes of Beltane, it's a celebration of love, passion, and fertility. And please take in mind that fertility doesn't have to be the creation of a baby, if you will, but it can be sort of the soil or ground laying of what we're working on in our lives. So with that being said, here are your piles to choose from: pile 1, pile 2, pile 3. So pick the pile that you are drawn to the most and we'll begin our reading. If you are drawn to 2 cards equally, if you will, please make sure you check out the video for that pile as well. So I'm just going to pull away pile 3 and I'm going to pull away pile 2, and we'll start our reading with pile 1. So pile 1, first we have here the hummingbird song: nectar of sweetness and joy it brings, the hummingbird's healing as medicine it sings. So right off the bat, what I feel like with this card is I see the maypole, if you will. So the maypole is a tall wooden pole that is erected as part of a celebration in the Beltane holiday. So it's a celebration of or encouraging fertility. So I feel like for pile number 1's collective reading, we're gonna talk and discuss a lot about fertility. And this, you can take it in terms of creating a baby. But this is also about like creating fertile ground for whatever situation we need to focus on in the month of May. So let's get into these other cards here. So we have breathe, slow down and contemplate the tea, violets and ivy tangled around the eaves. And we have discovery here. So look at the early dewdrops before they disappear with the morning sun. So I feel like what this is saying with you guys for pile 1, we need to take a step back. Okay, we're not looking at all the details. So when you think about fertile ground, you know, there's different types of soil, right? So a rose needs a different kind of soil or pH balance than what a hydrangea plant would need. And yes, there's probably going to be a lot of spring flower, earthy kind of analogies throughout this. So what I'm seeing in this is that we haven't taken the time to slow down and talk about or think about what kind of soil we're actually using to fertilize the ground in the area that we need to work on. Look at the early dewdrops before they disappear with the morning sun. So I keep hearing the early bird gets the worm when I look at that card and I read that. To me, this means that we're not taking the opportunities. We don't see them. They may be so undiscoverable because we're not awake to it. So look at the early dewdrops. The early bird gets the worm. It's like you're almost a step behind on everything, or things that you're planning or things that you're doing. It's like you're that step behind, and then you're like, oh, I was just there. If I had only been there 30 seconds ago, if I had only been there 5 minutes ago, if I had only done that 10 days ago. And this is creating sort of the violets and ivy tangled around the eaves. So this is creating an entanglement of no fruition. It's like choking the soil. This is not good groundwork to come off of. And so we really need to start finding out how we can get to be that early bird, if you will. I just keep seeing like sleeping in, running late. There's a lot of that unorganized energy around this reading, if you will. So what is an area in May that we need to focus on? Okay, so some of this has to, for you guys, has to deal with career. Excuse me. So I feel like some of us are probably honestly, this is starting to talk about career-wise, some of you have had a change of career paths, some of you have lost your jobs, and the ground just wasn't fertile enough. It wasn't stable enough to keep you in that position. So I see the ladder here. So there's opportunity to move towards that growth. This is a really, look at it, this tree is on a hillside and it's still growing out of the hillside. So I know personally one of my hydrangea plants is on like a hillside, and the soil, I have to keep adding soil to it in order for it to stay healthy and to grow. And so this is kind of where you guys are in your career. There's a rebalancing act that has to be done. Like every year or so, and you just keep growing it out of the side, and we have to keep adding that soil, keep fertilizing it, keep growing, keep learning, keep understanding. So I feel like, and career could be something like your 9-to-5 job, or it can be something that you do social media wise, something outside the normal society expectation of what a career is. But I feel like for pile number 1, this has to deal a lot with how you earn money, and where you're putting your energies into how you earn money and moving up that ladder. I also hear, like, don't forget about those who support you. There's this big rainbow around here. This tree is in the bubble. So you guys are kind of in your own bubble, in your own lane. And you may not be seeing the larger landscape of the things around you, which isn't always a bad thing. But you know, those dewdrops do disappear when the sun comes out. The sun is great, but it also dries up the land. It dries up the soil. The soil needs the sun, but it can't have too much sun. Otherwise it dries out and it can't build from there. So we have to be paying attention to how we're moving through our finances, moving through our career, and the relations within that. So what is restricting us? Lust. So yeah, for some of us, this is, excuse me, we're disillusioned a little bit. When you think of in terms of lust versus love, when you think about it in terms of like a relationship, lust is a little bit disillusioned. It disillusions us to believe that we are in love with this person. Just like you can be disillusioned that you are in love with an idea. It's the lust, it's the idea. It's a chemical connection, if you will, and there's a adrenaline that pushes us through, but it's not necessarily the most stable place to be. So the restriction in us moving up that ladder and sort of getting to that top of that tree and seeing everything is this disillusion, that lust that we're carrying in our finances, in our career, that is a disillusionment of what is actually happening and what is there. We are tangled into this idea that isn't absolutely 100% true. Let's see. And okay, so she who surprises, surprise, discovery, revelation. So I feel like the month of May is going to bring you some surprises. There's going to be some discoveries and revelations about your career, the path that you're taking, the people that are in sort of this, like you see these circles in here of light and etc. So like the people that are involved in your career, you're really going to start to see in the month of May, the disillusionments are going to start to fade away, if you will, especially if you realize that perhaps maybe you were looking at this in more of a lustful way than you were in a realistic way, or in a way that came to the table with love and compassion. Lust is a heady emotion, and it can really blindside us. So I think you're going to be surprised about the things you discover and find out in terms of your career and finances, and the relations that you have, not only yourself and your finances, yourself and your career, but the relations that you have within that environment. So that is your reading for pile number 1. I'm just going to pick these up. If you would like to have a personal reading, you can reach me at ericasfrequency@gmail.com. You can also check out my services at www.ericasfrequency.com. So happy Beltane, happy May, and happy discovery for pile number 1. So now we're going to move into pile number 2 here. And this is the card that was on the top. So we'll flip this over, and we have heart healing, and Nomad. So here we go with these cards here. So right off the bat, Nomad. The nomadic wanderer lies deep inside, so take the leap now, don't crawl back and hide. And then we have Heart Healing. Morning now has had its time, do not pay it a single dime. Emerge from the darkness, a new day starts, let light embrace the healing heart. So pile number 2 in terms of Beltane theme, if you will, this is going to be about love. So this is going to be about the love that you've received and the love that you've given. I feel like a lot of you, there's like 3 stages in this actually. So I feel like a lot of you do feel like nomadic people, if you will. You haven't found your tribe, your soul tribe, your people. Yes, you have families, but maybe you're the black sheep of the family and you don't feel like you're connected to the ideas and expectations of the family values and morals of your birthright family, if you will. So it sort of led you to that nomadic feeling. And then, you know, within that, the heart healing, I do feel like some of you are scarred. You've had trauma in terms of relationships that you've been in. And this can be parent to child, child to parent, sibling to sibling, you know, intimate relations, significant other, marriages, etc. But there is some, and even like grandma to granddaughter. So this can take in the aspect of mourning those who have crossed over, our loved ones who have passed on. But there is, like, I just keep seeing a black hole. So I know that there's some emptiness here. And I know being a nomad isn't always a bad thing. You're learning about other cultures and societies and other ways of living, etc. But you don't have a foundation. You're not stable, if you will, in terms of having that support around you, and we can get sort of caught up in our own selves. So this is definitely going to be about that journey we're taking to love ourselves more, so that we can give that love to others in appropriate ways. So let's see what else we have here. We have the Wallflower card. Look for the crack in the concrete to find your way out. Change. As with the falling leaves, embrace change. And we have transform. Rise above any situation and become the best version of you. And courage. When picking roses, don't fear the thorns. So I absolutely love this in terms of what we've already discussed, because, you know, when I see this, I also think of like wildflowers. So I think of like the dandelion, and dandelions will grow anywhere. And this is absolutely what we've been working on. This is how we want to love ourselves. We want to know that we can grow in any environment that we find ourselves in. No matter where we're at, we still love ourselves. We're not worried about the expectations of others. And when we can find that love for ourselves, we can give that love to others. That sort of, they call it like saving space for others, if you will, where there's no judgment. It's just, you are who you are and I am who I am. Embrace the change that's happening. So while you might feel like some of you are at the beginning of this nomadic stage, if you will, and you're still just sort of wandering around with this broken heart, this emptiness inside of you. And so some of you are at the beginning of that stage. Some of you are in the middle, where you're like, okay, I understand why this happened. And now I need to find ways to move forward, to get that healing. You know, this is mourning, M-O-U-R-N. So we are mourning the loss of something, the loss of a relationship, the loss of a disillusion. We took the rose-colored glasses off, etc. We need to not be afraid of that change. And some of you are in that second phase, if you will, where we've embraced the change. Some of you are in that first, where we're just sort of wandering around going, what the hell happened to us? And we're not looking at it yet in such a way that we understand that we actually have to make the change within ourselves, so that these situations don't happen again. The transformation and the courage. So some of you are at the third phase of this, if you will. I'm sorry to say, for those that are stuck in phase 1, it does feel like there's 2 other phases to go through. The transformation here, rise above any situation, become the best version of you. So we're transforming. So some of you are in that last phase. You're not paying attention to the grief and sadness and the angst that this situation has created, that sort of black hole in your heart. We've healed that. We're moving on. We understand. We've transformed from it, and we have the courage to walk out into the world knowing all our thorny sides, knowing that it's not, you know, the expectation of this perfect place doesn't exist, but we can create our own perfect environment through the love that we have for ourselves. So this is actually a beautiful transformation. Beautiful transformation for you guys in the second pile for the month of May that you're working through. So we have the empowerment card. Absolutely, you need to feel empowered to move through this transformation. This can be very deep for some of you. If you need help, please reach out to your counselor or trusted friend, somebody that you can communicate all of this with. And then we have spirit guides or guide, and then we have closure. So again, this is just very these are the things you're going to focus on in the month of May. So we're going to focus on empowering ourselves through this change and accepting this change, accepting the transformation, accepting loving ourselves for who we are and not what the rest of the world wants us to be. I love that you have the spirit guide in here, because this will have to do something with, say you were a Christian and you want to get into mediumship, and Christianity sort of forbids that from happening. So absolutely, we have the spirit guide here. So there's definitely some exploration in terms of what you view spirituality as, where you feel safe in. Some of you might feel safe in Christianity. Some of you might feel safe developing in Buddhism. Some of you might feel safe in Judaism. So where you feel safe, that you can empower yourself, that you can find that love for yourself again. And again, by the end of May, you will find closure. So if some of you are at the beginning of this process, by the end of the May, you will find some closure. Some of you will be completely transformed by the end of May. So there is closure, there is positivity at the end of this. What is restricting you? Forbidden. So it's interesting that we have talking about the spirit, and then the forbidden, say Christian, and then the mediumship with the spirit. So you are actually sort of restricting yourself. You are forbidding yourself. Some of you are forbidding yourself from experiencing this transformation because of societal expectations, beliefs, cultural forms, etc. I'm going to go back to that nomadic card here. So some of you may have even had a tribe and thought that you were part of it, and then you had the loss, right? You took the rose-colored glasses off, and you're like, this wasn't for me. So you were forbidding yourself from actually seeing the full truth of the situation, the relation, the cultural belief systems, norms and values in where you were. And so this is part of your transformation. So we want to release that idea that we're forbidden from being who we are, that we're forbidden from growth, that we're forbidden to transform, however that unfolds from us, as long as it's positive. And then the last card we have here is She Who Begins. So I love this. You have the closures here, and then She Who Begins. Look at all this beautiful transformation there, all those beautiful butterflies, right? So when we think about the butterflies, they're the huge symbol. A lot of people know them as the symbol for transformation. So launch, actualize potential. So you have the potential by the end of this month to come out as the rose with the thorn petals, as we have here with the courage card. So being empowered, being courageous about who you are and where you want to be in this life, in this world, and just receiving that love for yourself from the appropriate places and people. So that is your reading for pile number 2. So if you would like a personal reading, you can reach out to me at ericasfrequency@gmail.com. You can check out my website for all the services I provide if you're interested at www.ericasfrequency.com. And that'll give you services and prices. So happy Beltane, happy May, happy discovery. And I look forward to hearing about your journey into yourself and your transformation. So let's move into welcome pile number 3. We're going to start off with the, the card that we first saw. And this is begin here. Do not fear what travel brings, my dear. The moment is yours. Begin now here. So right off the bat, I'm feeling with this card for you guys, we're going to talk about, in terms of the Beltane celebration, we're going to talk about passion. We're going to talk about what your passion is, how it is growing and developing here in the moment. So we don't want to play out into this fear. When travel brings, my dear, the moment is yours. Begin now here. So pile number 3 collectively, in a collective reading, some of you are dealing with creative ideas. We're finding out who we are. Some of you are diving in and figuring out what your passion is. I feel like this pile number 3 is going to have a lot to do with our passion, our creativity, things that bring us joy, okay? So let's flip the card here. Present. Journey into the garden to escape the 2 eternities, the past and the future. And then retreat. Never underestimate the healing power of a quiet moment. So I know that these are kind of like opposite ends of the spectrum, if you will. We're journeying here, we're traveling. This is saying retreating, journeying again into the garden to escape the 2 eternities. So more importantly, what I want to focus on in this, in terms of your passion, in terms of what to sort of experience in the month of May, is being present. Not allowing fear to dictate how you're going to move forward and whatever passionate idea you have, as long as it is a positive idea and a positive movement forward. So the past is in the past. We can't change it. We can only learn from it. So we can understand how maybe it makes us work in today's day, in certain situations, how we respond and react, etc. We can't tell the future. Yes, this is an oracle reading. Yes, I'm doing it for the month of May. But you can wake up tomorrow, make a completely different decision, and come back and look at this video and be drawn to pile number 1 instead of pile number 3. So there is free will in how we choose to move forward. What I really want to focus on is the present. So we have today, we have this moment. We need to ignore the naysayers from the past. I feel like some of you are carrying the weight of social expectations, relation expectations, and you listen more to say what social media has to say, what loved ones have to say, and you've allowed that to sort of morph you into a person who, if they had passion about drawing, dropped it because of the naysayers, because of the negative remarks about it, because it wasn't supported perhaps by parents or siblings or somebody important in your life. So I feel like, get rid of the past. We're not going to deal with the past right now. It's not going to help us in the present moment, unless we're trying to figure out what our triggers are, which just has nothing to do with that. This is about your passion and developing that. Retreat. Never underestimate the healing power of a quiet moment. So how are we going to take this present moment to discover our passions and, discover those goals and baby steps that we can take to develop the passion and grow the passion, right? We're going to do that in those quiet moments. We're going to find those quiet moments, whether it's 10 minutes in your car when you're driving home from work. Just make sure you're paying attention to the roadways and the other vehicles around you. Or if you get to take a bath at night, or you journal, however that unfolds for you, take that quiet moment, rediscover yourself and what your passions are. Even if, say, you're 60 years old and you're watching this, go back to when you were 20. What were you passionate about? What didn't you get to develop so much because life got in the way? You had kids, you got married, etc. You moved away, or whatever it was. But we all have something in our lives that we are passionate about. How can we grow that? How can we fertilize that so that it grows into something positive and stays strong within us? Because passion is one of the beats of life, if you will. So what does this have to deal with? Okay, so we have the Strength card, we have the Beauty card, and we have the Boundaries card. So yes, some of you when I see this card, let me just start out here. When I see this card here, I feel like what I love about this card is we just get the mirror image of the girl. So what this tells me is that in terms of your passion, in terms of where you are right now, the expectations of others are more important than the expectation of yourself. So this reminds me of the girl who's like a size 2 and she still thinks she's fat because she's in a size 6 in one pair of jeans and a size 4 in another pair of jeans, and the modeling industry tells her to be in a size 2. That's what I feel like some of you are dealing with in this pile 3, is the disillusionment of societal expectations, of listening too much to what other people have to tell you. You have to find the strength and the beauty within yourself and create those boundaries. I love that the infinity symbol's here. So those boundaries are going to help you, lifelong boundaries, to keep encouraging you in your strength, to keep encouraging that you are a beautiful soul, that your passions do matter, that your ideas do matter, your creativity does matter. There's the butterfly in here with the cubs. So you're still young in your transformation. You're still young in this, but look at how powerful she looks there. So absolutely the opportunity to grow in your strength and your beauty in terms of how to develop this passion. So you really need to step back and look at yourself, how to be more in the moment, more present, and how to work out the naysayers and those negative comments that keep replaying over and over in your head. So what are some of the restrictions that we're dealing? Oh, confidence. So absolutely. So I'm just going to put this over the strength card here. So absolutely, your restriction in terms of developing this passion, in terms of the beauty that you can find within yourself, is your confidence. It's been beaten down, if you will. There's been a lot of experiences that you've had over your lifetime that have created some form of trauma within you, and so you are lacking in self-confidence. So we need to build that confidence, because without the, well, I'm not even going to say that. We need to build the confidence. In order for all this to fall together, that's going to be your focus on May, is building your self-confidence, however that looks for you. Little small baby steps is what I see. So if you're a writer, start journaling things. Write down 1 or 2 sentences and start sharing them on social media. Say you wake up and you have part of a poem stuck in your head. Write it out and put it on your Facebook, put it on your Instagram, whatever, and just start little baby steps, okay? I feel like is what's going to be important in building your confidence. Some of you may want to read books by Brené Brown, that deals with like your heart centers and your self-esteem, etc. Because it's going to be super hard to build your passion if you don't have the confidence to back it with, because the minute you get somebody who picks on it, somebody who tears it apart, somebody who critiques it, and you don't have that strength or that confidence to say, it's my idea, it's my passion, it's part of who I am, passion is an extension of you, then you're allowing them to take you down. And we don't want that. We want to develop enough that we can say, no, this is mine, and I fully own it, I fully accept it, and this is a beautiful part of who I am, and that's going to be part of your boundaries. So working on those boundaries in the month of May so that we can build that confidence and strength in ourselves. She who surrenders, chains, bondage, and release. So I feel like this just goes straight back to that idea of letting go of the naysayers, the people that we trusted and loved in our lives, that have sort of entrenched themselves, like burned their naysaying into our brain so much that it actually affected our confidence and how we actually see ourselves. She who whispers, secrets, confessions, confidant. So there's 2 things with this card. The first thing I want to say is, as you work through May, you may find your own tribe, your own people, your own person to communicate your passions and ideas with that are going to help you build your confidence and strength. But I also want to put it out there, just be mindful of how those people are coming into your lives and who they are, and don't wear the rose-colored glasses. I feel like pile number 3, you are good about seeing certain personality traits that don't fit in your world, but we still need to be conscious, because it's not going to take much for you guys to lose your confidence, to break that strength. So we want to be careful about who we're whispering our ideas and passions to, and make sure that they are people that will build up our confidence and our strength. So that's pile number 3 for Beltane, and for the month of May, what you need to work on. I will pull these away here, and as I do that, if you are interested in your own personal reading, please reach out to me at ericasfrequency@gmail.com. You can check me out at www.ericasfrequency.com for a list of all my services and pricing. I wish you all the best of May and happy Beltane, and that's it.